Round like a circle in a spiral, like a wheel within a wheel, never ending or beginning, like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the Debonair Ideals segment where we've got talking about being debonair and mitigating the cold when enjoying a cigar.
Yeah, you know, we did last week. We kind of touched on this with humidification, and I figured, you know, winter is a challenging time to be a cigar enthusiast, and there's ways, you know, to when you mitigate that, you could be a little more debonair. You know, in terms of where you smoke, you know, maybe how you mitigate from the cold, and maybe what you smoke.
I kind of like, I've never tried it, but Stogie Santa always used to say that he would wrap himself in an electric blanket.
That was what inspired me for this segment.
Yeah, and I had never thought of that. I know that for fishing, especially, I've seen it on. Sometimes I admit, I watch fishing shows because I do like to go fishing, and they'll be fishing in the winter, and I'm like, God, it's so cold on the lake in the winter, and he's got this suit on, and it's like a full like snowsuit. And it plugs into his battery, and it's a heated suit. So it's kind of like a electric blanket, except it's a suit. And I'm like, wow, if I had to smoke outdoors, I'd be investing in one of those bad boys for sure.
He's raved about it too. I mean, I think he's fallen asleep in it a couple times smoking a cigar.
Yeah. I'm sure the scotch had something to do with that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think you got to get creative if you're forced to smoke outdoors in the winter. I know sometimes at night after you're winding down in your day, you want to go outside and have a cigar. You got to get creative as to how you can keep yourself warm. Those kind of outdoor space heaters, the big tower things, can work if it's mildly cold out. But a winter here in New England, that's not going to keep you warm. Any kind of space heater, even in some semi-open environment, is not going to keep you warm in the winter. I think the suit or the electric blanket is definitely, and to be debonair, make sure you have some for your friends too. I think Stogie Santa and a couple of his friends, they keep like this stockpile of electric blankets so they can each individually, or maybe they share one, I don't know, but they can each individually wrap themselves in an electric blanket and stay warm and drink scotch and have cigars outside in the winter. He said it's a great experience. I have a heated workshop at home, so I haven't tried that yet. I may try it one night. It sounds fun. I think I'd want to share that experience with one of my friends. It could be fun.
Yeah, I have the heated garage, but sometimes I do like if it's a colder day as opposed to a night, I will take the heater outside. And two things I've found that work are double socks and a hat.
Absolutely.
Now, if the double socks and hat and the heater don't work, maybe it's not going to be a good cigar experience.
Yes.
And, as much as I hate to say this, maybe the debonair thing is not to smoke.
Right. And don't smoke a Connecticut or Cameroon when it's 20 degrees out. It's not going to end well for you. You want to smoke something with a nice Connecticut broadleaf wrapper. Such as maybe Debonair Maduro. Is Debonair Maduro Connecticut broadleaf Maduro?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and the J. Grotto Anniversary, which comes from Phil's factory as well, is also Connecticut broadleaf. So since this is the Debonair segment, those are kind of my two choices. Outside of that, I reach for Hemingway Maduro is a great choice for that. And there's tons of Connecticut broadleaf cigars out there. I like the UF13 from Drew Estate as well.
Yeah, that little, even the one I was thinking of is the little Preferido Corona, which I think we've all smoked, the diamond size, which I know Seth has smoked it too. That's a great cigar as well. The Corona size is I find it's better than a Lancero to have in a cold weather thing.
Yeah, you want to go small.
Well.
Yep.
It doesn't necessarily mean you have to, you can always have another smoke after that, but I just find it works better than with the longer ones. It gives you time if you want to go into the house to recharge for a bit as well.
Right. Very cool.
Yep.
Do you want to talk a little bit about San Latano?
Yeah,
and
let's
Fernandez?
do AJ.
Okay. So if we want to transition into the AJ Fernandez spot, that was our Debonair Ideal segment for this week. San Latano's line of cigars from AJ Fernandez has been one of the most talked about cigars in recent years, and now they offer a groundbreaking line extension, the San Latano the Bull. The San Latano Bull features an extensively aged and hardy core of Nicaraguan long fillers nestled beneath an attractive Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper. Housed in a cedar sleeve which depicts the outline of a bull only solidifies this cigar as a full-flavored cigar. Removing the sleeve reveals a box-pressed cigar with a beautiful oily and smooth chocolate brown wrapper. The San Latano Bull burns nice and neat as it issues columns of smoke, while it hits you with a wall of spice followed by leather and cedar. This densely packed cigar intensifies a deep, rich flavor profile and becomes a flavor bomb halfway through and only gets better with each passing draw. Strong yet smooth and perfectly balanced, AJ Fernandez, who many have called a prodigy, has somehow pushed the already spectacular San Latano line forward with the Bull. AJ Fernandez challenges you to take on the Bull. Very good. Will, over to you for our Stogies of the week.
Well, I'm going to start off with, these guys just joined up a couple weeks ago as our sponsor, and I've had a chance now to start smoking through their cigars, and it's a product called Age Selects. And what this company is doing is they're basically going into Nicaragua, and there's tons of cigars down in Nicaragua, and there's a lot of good ones. And what they're basically doing is they found some good cigars that they were able to obtain at a really good price that they felt were premium cigars. They have various different types of blends. They have a Habano, and I actually smoked their Maduro, which is a Nicaraguan Puro. It's all long filler, and the key thing is with this cigar is they come in bundles of 20 at a price point of $50. So this cigar, it's $2.50. And one reason why I kind of believed in these guys is because these cigars were the real deal. And they're not short filler things at all, and they smoke as good as any name brand premium cigar, if not better than some out there. For $2.50 price point, this cigar was a classic Nicaraguan Maduro. It starts out more sweet. It has a sweet espresso flavor up front. It's not that heavy sweetness that sometimes you'll get at what I call syrupy. It's not syrupy. It's not gritty. So it's not very heavy on the palate, which I liked about it. It has a light pepper note to start out with, and it's also got that creamy undertone that Kyle was kind of talking about earlier on with when we had Ezra Zion on. Then the sweetness will diminish. It transitions more to a black coffee and gets a little more earthy towards the end. This cigar never ran out of gas either. So it's the one I smoked, I should say, is the Toro Grande 6x54. And it was an impressive smoke. I said, for $50 to get these cigars, I'd get a bundle of them. I would grab the bundle for $50. And it's a great cigar to just give out to people. And I was very, very impressed. This Maduro was probably my favorite one that they did. I had it as a box bundle worthy one, again, for that price point. Lot of value. It was one of the best value cigars I had. So hats off to these guys. We'll be talking more about these in upcoming weeks.
Will, I smoked one of the ones from Maya Selva Cigars, the Kampai. Is that how you say it?
Yes, that's the
Nicaraguan.
The Nicaraguan, yes. Seth, I know you're real familiar with that one, too.
The number 15. This cigar was awesome. It's very, I want to say it's Cuban-esque. I still don't understand what that means, but I know on my palate that it felt kind of Cuban-esque. It's got that medium body, full flavor kind of profile. The burn and draw and construction of these cigars is just awesome. I had this one is a box split in my book.
It's a really good stick.
Yeah.
Very good blend.
I tend to, I'm really liking the Maya Silva cigars a lot.
Seth and I were very, very impressed because Gabriel, who we had on the show, if you remember, right when he was starting this new venture, he contacted both of us. I had never heard of them except through they got the rating in Cigar Journal last year. And Seth actually got to the cigars before I did, and he's like, you got to smoke these. You got to smoke these. He was, and then I kind of went back to them, and that's when I said, you got to smoke the Connecticut. I knew you'd really like the Connecticut. But that Kampai was a real, that's been around for a while, that Kampai. It's not a new cigar.
Yeah.
It's been around since the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's, to me, it's really all Nicaraguan, but it's very, it's almost, it's kind of like the Davidoff Nicaragua, which is this is mostly Nicaraguan, but it's very Dominican as well. It's very Caribbean as well. So there's this Dominican vibe to it, and it's almost like, when I smoked it, I was like, wow, this is kind of like the Davidoff Nicaragua. It's kind of got that same vibe. And then you realize, wow, this cigar's been on the market since the 90s. No wonder this has done really well in Europe. Like it's got that characteristics to it.
It does. It definitely does, for sure.
Yeah, it was impressive. It was. I mean, they've done some very impressive blends. There's another one besides the Vilazarano. Yeah, which is their value price cigar. That's another great value price cigar. I mean, it just very good. I think we're going to hear a lot more from Maya Silva.
Yeah, I agree. Seth, what else you been smoking?
I've actually, we talked about this last night at Habano's Credit. I've been smoking the new the re-release Vegueros out of Cuba, which I want to send you some of these, Paul, because I'm really interested in your thoughts on these.
Oh, awesome.
Very interesting smoke. I mean, this is, they're not made in Habana, they're made in Pinar del Rio. So it's kind of very, it's very farmer-esque, farmer-esque, if that's one of those things, and very organic in that sense. And it's a very different Cuban that some will really like, some will probably hate it. But to me, there's some of these Dominican Davidoff lower qualities, which I really enjoyed. I know Catfish really enjoyed them as well. They're very tasty. So I want to send you some, Paul, to get your thoughts on them.
Awesome, thank you.
They have some interesting packaging too with that.
Yeah, packaging's fantastic. I have some right in front of me if y'all want to see them. But it's just they really, this was a line that was just like going nowhere, so they stopped, re-released it, changed it, added different sizes, made them more friendly to the modern cigar smoker, really upgraded the packaging. So it's very catchy. And it's prices on it are terrific as well. So it's a fun little cigar.
Nice. Will, back to you.
I smoked the Hammer and Sickle limited edition 14, which is it's actually the second limited edition they did. Earlier this year, they did a cigar called the Sochi, which was a commemorative cigar for the Winter Olympics, and it was a limited edition. Now, the story behind that cigar is they made 100 boxes of the Sochi, and the story is that they offered it first to Dave Garofalo, two guys who said he wanted them all. So he ended up getting all the Sochis, and they went really fast. I happened to get some of the Sochis. It was one of the best cigars I had this year. And it basically used like 9 different types of tobaccos. So they came out with another LE this year. It's not the Sochi blend. It's got like 6 types of tobaccos. But I have a picture in the feed. It looks very similar to the Sochi. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same wrapper. It's got a very interesting band, and it's got that band that's in the statue that's in, I believe, Red Square of Russia of the Worker and Koholt's Woman. And I know I'm saying that wrong, so someone could correct me. But I'll tell you what, and Davidoff's making this cigar, and the price point is actually very reasonable, and you can get these LE14s. They're a little easier to come by. They made more boxes. It's $10. I'll say it's very Davidoff-esque like. It's got a little bit of natural tobacco, black pepper, some toast, dried fruit, and Paul, some of those herbal notes that you talk about from a Davidoff. I wouldn't say this was as good as the Sochi. It's a very good cigar. It's a box-worthy cigar. The nice thing about this cigar is, I was in a local shop and someone came in and wanted there's a local shop now, Cameron Hammer and Sickle, and they wanted Davidoff, but they're not a Davidoff appointed merchant. And basically they positioned this cigar as, hey, this is coming from Davidoff. If you like Davidoff, for $10, try this cigar. And the person did and really liked the cigar. So if you see these Hammer and Sickle LE14s, it's supposedly a one-and-done release. I'd recommend it. It's a really nice cigar.
Very cool. My smoke of the week was from the Avo Greatest Hits sampler. I don't know. I want to call it a sampler or a gift set, but you know what I'm talking about, the Avo.
Yep. In fact, I'm going to start going through mine next week. I've started smoking. I just didn't get a chance to write up some stuff.
So I got to the 2007, I believe.
The Unbanded?
Nope. So this is the 2008 with the foot, just the band on the foot.
That's the Tesoro, yeah.
Tesoro, thank you. Yes.
Yep.
The 2008. This cigar was out of this world. And I've smoked some aged ones of these, and I'm like, yeah, they're good. I smoked this one, and I was like, holy crap. The flavors are just unbelievable. It's got that herbal component you talked about, Will. Probably one of the more herbally kind of cigars.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, the first third. But I tell you, the ash was so, like unbelievably dense when it fell off of this cigar. The construction was unbelievable. The flavors were just awesome. I mean, it just hits you with flavors throughout the entire cigar. It's got some of those herbal undertones, nice toasty kind of sweetness, had a little complexity to it. It's my favorite so far, hands down, in this box.
Over the 2002.
Over the 2002 even. This cigar was off the charts. I know I was smoking. I was totally distracted by this cigar. I couldn't help but pay attention to it. I would buy a box of these, 2 boxes. This is like fight Chuck Norris for it.
Wow.
Kind of level cigar in this box. And it's interesting because if I smoke some of the aged ones, I think they've lost some over time. But this new one, brand new in the box, this one is spectacular. It makes me sad. I wish I could buy a whole box of these.
Yeah, and I know they're around, but like you said, the ones that are around probably have some age on them.
Yeah, and there was a totally different experience for me. So this one was a home run when they reblended it's from the same farm, same tobacco, right? But it's newer tobacco is what I'm surmising from this kind of re-release from Avo, and this one was just off the charts.
A side note, they announced Cigar Aficionado had the first preview. Avo's going through a rebranding, very similar to what Camacho and now Davidoff Winston Churchill. I'd say the packaging's not as radically changed as those two brands, but there's some subtle packaging changes. But they made a pretty big announcement, and Paul, you may be interested in this. They're discontinuing the Avo Maduro and the Avo Signature.
Wow.
Interesting.
So, and I really like the Avo Signature. That's
Me
the
too.
red band one, so you may want to try to get your hands on them, is what I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm going to stock up on those. I do, because I like to smoke the Avo Classic and Avo Signatures. Oh, I smoke a lot of those, actually. Cool. Will, what else you been smoking?
I got a couple more, and they're both from the same company, so I'll start with the first one. I smoked a review. I did another review with the Blind Man's Puff people, and they gave me this unbanded kind of Claro wrapper, which I had no clue of what it was. It turned out to be a cigar by Cubanacan called the Soneros Habano Claro, which is the one Cubanacan probably I had not smoked. Soneros is one of their brands, and I've smoked the Maduro, and I thought the Maduro was okay. We've talked about Blind Man's Puff. We're going to have them on the show. I think, they're a site that specializes in blind reviews, and they have a really deep process, and Seth and I have both been through the process. Yeah. This was an Ecuadorian wrapper with an Ecuadorian binder with Nicaraguan filler. It's a 6x52 Toro. It's got a price point around $670. I was really, really surprised by this cigar. It was a terrific balance. It had flavors of natural tobacco and cocoa. The synergy of these flavors really, it was like when we were talking with Kyle, how flavors, they don't muddle each other. They play in harmony, and I thought they were really good. Other people reviewed this cigar. They had it milder than I did, and they had a lot lower score than I did. In fact, the only guy who had a much higher score than me was Craig Snyder of Half-Assed, who loved the cigar, and I was kind of in agreement with him on this. This was a surprise cigar for me. I'm actually going to do a regular review on it to see if I kind of get the same feel for it, but it was a box split in my book. Again, blind reviews, they could give you a whole totally different perspective on things.
Very true.
Absolutely. Let's see. Seth, what else you been smoking?
I came back just because I'm doing my top 25. I came back to my number one cigar of last year, which was the Don Pepin Garcia 10th anniversary, which I absolutely loved when that was released last year. Couldn't get enough of it. So I came back to it. And maybe it was just a cigar, but I felt like it's really lost a lot over the year. It's, all Nicaraguan filler and binders, Ecuadorian Habano, seed wrapper, but it's very disappointing. I think it's lost a lot of its edge. I just don't think it's smoking as lovely as it was when it was before. It's I don't want to say it went flat, but it just isn't as good as it was, which is a shame because that was a great cigar when it was first released.
Yeah, I have several of them left, and now I'm kind of tempted to go back and smoke them. I mean, when we first smoked them, I know Stogie, Sandra, and I, we thought it needed a little time to come around, and then it really came around.
Yeah.
And it was a top 10 cigar of mine last year as well. So now and I've kind of just been holding these in my humidor in the coffin, so now I feel like I gotta go back and smoke it to see.
Yeah, and I had mine the coffin was open, it was in my humidor, and I was just compelled to smoke it, and maybe it was just that one, but I'd be interested in your thoughts because it's kind of a shame because that was really a special cigar for me. So if it's gone downhill, it's kind of a shame for the cigar.
I went back to the Wild Bunch from Aging Room. Did I say that right? Wild
Pack.
Wild Pack. Yes, Wild Pack. WP3, the T306, which looked to me like a Connecticut wrapper. Was this the one you smoked on the show, Will?
I smoked the number 1, which was the other Connecticut.
Okay. This one was really good. I mean, I would call it a 5-er, I think, in terms of, I'm going to say it's Connecticut. Just, I've got a pretty high degree of confidence on it. I smoke a lot of Connecticut's. I thought it was a good cigar, solid cigar. Had some nice flavors. In the end, I would call it a 5-er.
Yeah, I thought the number 1 had a little more strength for Connecticut compared to Aging Room's Habano, which is a very mild cigar, but a flavorful one. But I thought that number 1 had a little more strength to it, which if it somehow won, it would complement their portfolio well. But I would say it's probably about a 5-er as well, that number 1. So now I got to go smoke the 3 and see.
So I smoked the number 1. I would probably rate it like a little above the 5-er because I liked that extra kick that the 1 had. And I thought
it definitely had some kick to it, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought the 1 had I like the flavor profile in the number 1 better than the number 3.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
The number 1 had a real weathered wrapper.
It did, yeah. It was very rustic kind of looking.
It almost looked like a U.S. Connecticut, to be honest with you. I don't know. They're not telling the blends. But, yeah, and I think I'm looking at the picture. It looks darker, the number, a little more creamy, that number 3, yeah.
I wanted to talk about the blending seminar as well.
I got one more.
Oh, well, I was still going to do Stogies. I was just
okay. Go ahead, yeah.
Take a little deviation, talk about the blending seminar. I learned a lot. Manuel Inoa is a fantastic guy, awesome person, extremely knowledgeable. The blending seminar was just awesome, and I had never been through a blending seminar before, so this was my first one, and it was just so cool to smoke all the different fillers, and we smoked a little Preferido number 3 in the Cameroon wrapper, and then you get that Churchill with all the different Preferido wrappers on it. Just an awesome experience. And breaking news here on Stogie Geeks, we're going to have that blending seminar for sale. So you'll be able to purchase a DVD in addition to the blending kit and be able to do that at your own leisure. I think we're going to include with that a Smoke Naked t-shirt as well. And those will be up for purchase on our website. I'm going to use the same URL, Will. That URL is going to take you to a different place. If you go to stogiegeeks.com/blending, you're going to land on that blending seminar and be able to purchase it. So,
yeah, Paul, you did a great job. I wish I could have been up there, but I did watch the live feed. The only thing I regretted is I should have got a blending kit. But
yeah, we'll send you one, Will.
I just missed the boat on that. But I think, yeah. And what did you think about smoking the Peritos? Isn't that a very interesting exercise?
Well, like I said during the interview, I was amazed as to how much complexity and different flavors you could pick out in each one of those Peritos. It was really, and it was kind of cool to like the Brazilian had a certain kind of zing to it, and then the Nicaraguan and Dominican and I think it was an Indonesian filler inside of the Preferido line, and to smoke each one of those individually was just awesome. And my senses were kind of overwhelmed. Like, I'm going to pick up an extra blending kit, and I'm actually going to go through it again because I really want to, kind of pay attention because I was kind of running around, doing stuff and then doing the blending seminar in between things. But I really want to do it again. because it was just such an awesome experience. So you'll get the DVD, a Smoke Naked T-shirt, the blending kit, and the PowerPoint slides that he had. So you'll get some of his content on that, which kind of talked about the different primings and where the tobacco comes from and all that kind of stuff. So some excellent information in there. So that'll be up on our website. I don't think we put a price on it yet, but that will be up on our website. So check back to stogiegeeks.com/blending.
It was. Did you smoke through the cigar with the different wrappers? It's kind of interesting because here's what I've been to a few blending seminars. Hanky Kellner does one with the Puritos.
Yeah.
And Jose Blanco does one with the wrappers on the single cigar.
Mm-hmm.
This one kind of had both. You had both aspects of it. And I've been through Jose's. I've been to Hanky's once and Jose's 3 times. And when you go through that cigar with the wrapper changes,
it's
especially
awesome.
if you cleanse your palate with the club soda or the tonic water.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yep. Yeah. So what Manuel had us doing was cleansing with the club soda, and also put some coffee beans in a cup and smell the coffee beans to cleanse the nose palate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. That was very good. It was very good. He did a very good job.
Yep.
Yeah, but when I was down in Nicaragua at Nica Sueño with Skip Martin, that's what he and Esteban do. They have a table in the back which is just all burritos, and I mean it's they have different, they have jalapa, they have Esteli. I mean, they have everything there, and it's all like little 4x couple 40 ring gauge something. And we were able to smoke them, and you can really pick up that tobacco.
Yeah.
And then you can go off of there and you can say, okay, this is what this is delivering. That way, when you start actually blending, you can say, gosh, what do I want to add to this? What is this something I need? Maybe we need to add this. It's a really great experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. So look for that. And it was just really cool. Some of those Puritos were so good. I was like, I would smoke this as a regular cigar. Like, this cigar is awesome.
Yeah.
I was that actually was one of the surprising.
Some of the ones I went to with Hanky were terrible.
Yeah, you kind of set my expectations for that, Will. You were like, when you smoke a Purito, it's not like smoking a cigar. But the tobacco they put in that Preferido blend, which is one of my favorite blends in various different wrappers, it just gave you a newfound appreciation for that blend. And what was interesting was the Preferido number 3 in that Cameroon wrapper. So awesome. I want to buy a box of that cigar. It was just so awesome. That's the smallest size in the Preferido. It was awesome. I did get the opportunity to smoke the Black Diamond in the Corona size, which was awesome as well.
Now, just does Todd still have the Coronas for sale?
So, kind of interesting. I don't know how much Todd wants me to talk about it, but yes. I'll just
okay.
I'll kind of tease it. There's more coming on that front, but yes, you can purchase if you want. Call the Havana Cigar Club. You can purchase just the blending kit. You can purchase the Coronas, and I strongly recommend all of our listeners go do that. You could probably over the phone build a box with all of the different Coronas as well. He has plenty of them. And, well, more news on that as we go forward. But, yeah, awesome stuff.
Great.
Will, back to you. You said you had some more.
I have a smoke of the week. I have an Oasis smoke.
Ooh.
And it won't be my cigar of the year because it kind of came in after the deadline. But they just started shipping the Cubanacon HR, which is the project that Hiroshi Robena did with Cubanacon. So I think folks know Hiroshi from Vegas Robena in Cuba. He had a relationship with the blender at Cubanacon, and they were able to. What's significant about it is he's coming from Cuba to work on this project. He's not an expatriate. So it is a significant project per se. He's still involved in working in Cuba. This cigar has had a lot of hype. It was they brought Hiroshi at the show. We had a chance to talk to him at the show. They've been kind of sitting on this blend. I think they've been just really waiting for it to be right. I've had a chance to smoke. I smoked it right after the show, and I smoked it once before these got released, and I saw a lot of promise with them. I thought it was going to be a very good cigar. I did not think it was going to be an Oasis level cigar. This is a home run. It is a Ecuadorian Habano 2000 seed hybrid, which this wrapper is like dark cinnamon is the best way to put it. It's got a Nicaraguan Jalapa binder, and it's got filler from Esteli and Jalapa. I smoked the Sublime, which is the 6.5 by 54, at a price point of $21.95. So this cigar does not have a cheap price point. And I was a little skeptical, but when I got the final product of this thing, oh my goodness, this is a landmark cigar. I think it's a cigar that is going to be talked about for a long time. We talk about Oasis level cigars. I don't know how many of them get talked about for a long time, but I think the notoriety of this cigar, the notoriety of the project, and the end product of this cigar, which is just, it's got a lot of complexity. It's got a lot of sweetness. It starts out with more of a natural tobacco feel, but it transitions to these chocolate notes along the way. There's some cedar, a lot of cream on this cigar. A little bit of almond even I got off of it. It's a medium strength, mostly medium bodied cigar. Maybe the body goes medium plus towards the end of it. Here's the way I'm going to put it. It's Cuban-esque, but it's much smoother than a Cuban is the best way to put it. And I would crawl across the desert to get it. They got these in my local shop, which is not a shop that's known for selling $21 cigars. The owner smoked this cigar, said I got to have it. He got it. And the other thing, just kind of note on this cigar, which is interesting, is it's got a closed footer, which Seth, you can kind of comment on this. Cuban cigars are not really known for closed footers.
No, they don't do it.
Yeah. And Hiroshi told me at the show it was kind of something he was doing for cigars on his farm.
Yeah.
And when he came to the U.S., he saw all these closed footer cigars, and he didn't realize that the American market had so many cigars with that. And, he's kind of questioning in terms of, where did that come from? Because he kind of feels like he was one of the innovators. His Vegas Urbania was one of the innovators of it. Look, try this cigar. It's simple. I have not seen one person say this cigar was nothing short of stellar.
I can't wait to try it.
Yeah, so both of you guys will have these cigars. So.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, he does. He does put the closed footers. I've smoked some of his custom rolls, which are basically rolled at his farm with his tobacco, and they have the closed footers on them.
Yep.
Will, you sent me an Intemperance. Which
box
one?
Press.
The box press. What was that?
That is the Revenge, which is the exclusive they did for Outland Cigars in Charlotte. So what they did is they took the Breach of the Peace, which is the 5x56 of the Intemperance line, and they box pressed it, and it was made as a retail exclusive, shop exclusive to Outland Cigars. So it's the Intemperance BA blend.
It was absolutely phenomenal.
I was really surprised.
I was blown away.
When he box pressed that cigar, it is a different animal. It was great.
I want to say I got like almost a chocolatey kind of profile from this cigar. Maybe some like earthy undertones. It was just very well balanced, and just awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a real. I've really liked what Skip at Roma Krebs has done with his box presses. He did it with the Cro-Magnon and the Aquitaine with the blockheads. And I think what he does with them is they're a little more of an open draw on those cigars.
And I like that. Yeah. That'll explain why I liked it so much.
I like it on a box. Normally I don't like that, but on a box press I like it. And I think that makes a big difference.
This is box worthy.
Oh, it's box worthy, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad we agree.
I never sent you yours, Seth, I think.
Yeah. Oh no, I have it.
Oh, you have it. Okay, you do have it.
Yeah, I haven't smoked it yet.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious to say. Like I said, I thought it was the best I had in the BA line. I really liked it but I've been like that with Skip's box presses on all the lines.
Box pressing can do so much for a blend.
Yep.
I revisited that Joel Sherman from Nat Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
That cigar is really good, man. There's a lot going on in that cigar.
Like my goodness.
You really got to pay attention to the flavors in that cigar. I still don't think I rate it as highly as some others. I would say in a 10-count box, it's box-worthy for me. I don't put it at a Fight Chuck Norris or an Oasis. I've smoked 2 of them so far, and I think they're really good. And I think for me, it had its moments where it was good, and then it went through some stages where it was just freaking awesome, and I just got these flavors, and I was like, whoa, where did that come from? And then it kind of makes these changes. It's got some awesome sweetness to it. It's got a nice balance of spice. I like it. I'm still calling it box-worthy.
You know, when I went up to Rhode Island, I had stopped at Joyle's, and that's when we did the show at Juan Martinez, and I picked up a few of them, and I smoked one at Joyle's. And I was talking to Stogie Santa, Big Pete, some of the guys there, and I get what everyone said about when you are not focused on that cigar.
If you're not, yeah. I tried to
it's
pay
very
attention
good.
to it.
It's a very good cigar. But I'm like, man, I hope this cigar didn't lose anything. Well, I went back home and I smoked one, in my garage, and yeah, it's still the same. It's one of those. You could say that's the negative about that cigar is, but you could make an argument that's certainly a negative. But overall, like I said, some of the flavors this thing goes through, and it really just right to the end. I mean, you get the flavors on that thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a cigar you have to focus on.
Cool. I think that rounds out the show. I know we went for a longer show tonight. We had the Padron interview, Ezra Zion interview. We did Stogies of the Week. We had just an epic show.
Yeah, we have a bonus segment on Esteban Carreras we'll be putting up too.
Yes. Yeah, Mark.
So that was why we had a little delay, but that was a very interesting segment with the folks then.
Absolutely. Thanks to the Havana Cigar Club for hooking up that interview with us. Seth, thank you very much for appearing on the show. We love having you on
Thanks for doing the interview too, Seth.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome. Well, guys, you have a good night. Thanks to all our listeners, and we'll see you next Thursday, which will be our last show of the year, so make sure you tune in.
We have another blockbuster next week, by the way.
And we got to do our top 10 list next week, so make sure you tune in for that. Well, I guess I'll do mine. Will doesn't do his, but...
Well, I'll do something else.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.